Let's look at the basics for in-text citations. First of all, we're required to use signal phrases in order to mark the boundaries between source material and the information that is in the paper that is our own idea. So whenever we are including a paraphrase, a summary, or a direct quotation from some other source, you should let the reader know that borrowed material is coming. Notice the examples of a dropped quotation and a quotation with a signal phrase. Hacker and Summers tell us, if you look over at the list on the right, that the signal phrase serves a variety of purposes. This would be information borrowed from the source, Hacker and Summers, and then here's a bibliographical citation for that borrowed material. Here I have provided signal phrases. The signal phrases are in blue, and then I have credited the sources with parenthetical citations. If the author's name is included in the signal phrase, then I need only include the page number at the end. If the author's name is not included in a signal phrase, then I need to include it in the parenthetical citation, as I do here and as I do here. Notice that if the names are included, I need only a page number. If the names are not included, then I need to include that in the parenthetical citation. Let's look at how we incorporate signal phrases and parenthetical citations into the paper according to Hacker and Summers. We are looking at section MLA 4A, MLA in-text citations, and this provides you, we're on page 389 of the course text, and this provides you with the basic rules. As I indicated, if the author is named in the signal phrase, you need to include only the page number in the parenthetical citation. If we refer to the author again, or the source again, then we may use just the author's last name, but we don't refer to authors by first name only. If the signal phrase does not name the author, then you include the author's last name in the parenthesis. Notice that there is no comma. Notice that there is no other mark of punctuation. Notice that the parenthetical comes after the mark of after the quotation mark, but before the closing period. If we don't know the author's name, we use the title of the article, which we can shorten if need be. If we don't know the page number, then you treat the page as you treat the source as if it had no page number, and in this case you would want to include either the author's name or the name of the article, depending on which information you had available. There are some variations if you have 2 or more authors. If you have 4 or more authors, you can use the Latin phrase et al., which means and others. Notice again that there are no commas. There is a period after et al. Because it is an abbreviation. And in some cases, an organization may be the author. And in that case, we treat the organization as though we were naming the author. There are a lot of variations, but the one thing that I want you to be aware of is the fact that if you have more than one source that you are citing in a single parenthesis, that there is a slightly different form. You do list the author's names as before with the page numbers, but between the sources you use semicolons. It suggests that you don't overuse this technique, but it certainly is legitimate. If you have 2 quotations in the same sentence that come from different pages, you can use the same process in order to cite both of them in one parenthetical citation. You'll notice in number 12 there is a reminder if you are using the same source in the same paragraph, you simply have to add only the parenthetical citation. You don't have to introduce your author again. If there is an encyclopedia, you use the article title if there is no author provided. And since this is something that we do, a selection in an anthology, whether you are getting a text from your course text, then you can credit the author of the selection that you are using, and then you provide the information in the bibliographical citation for the text that it comes from. We will not be using websites unless they are approved on an individual basis, but sometimes you do have indirect sources. That is, your source quotes another one. The citation includes the name of the text that is in your bibliographical works, that is in your works cited. So I should not have Bill Coleman's name here. Instead, I would find this source in the works cited. And finally, if you are using literary works or sacred text, then you use page numbers, or you use scene and line numbers, or you use poems. It says for the first reference, you use the word lines, and then thereafter you use just the line numbers. Again, this is from section MLA 4A in the Hacker and Summers text. It provides the basic rules and the variations on the basic rules, as well as how to cite literary works and sacred text. You can go back to the writer's reference, or you can always access the same information at the OWL at Purdue, the online writing lab at Purdue University.